Some social influencers are incredibly young and they're called Kidfluencers. The state of Illinois working to ensure these child social media influencers are compensated for their work with a new bill that was signed into law and goes into effect on July 1st of next year. To help us break all of that down, let's bring in Adam Zayed, managing trial attorney at Zayed Law Offices in Chicago. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here.
Yes, it's my pleasure.
First off, just break down this new law for me, what it means and what it's going to do.
Well, Illinois is getting ahead of the pack in terms of enacting this law. And what this law is designed to do is to make sure that if children under 13, under 16 even, are going to be in Instagram posts, Instagram content, Facebook content, and they are in more than 30% of the videos on that channel, that they should be entitled to income, and more specifically, 50% of the income for the amount of the time that they are featured on the social media platform.
What impact do you think this will actually have? Do you think it's going to be enough on its own, or do you think more is going to be required to be done before this actually has a real effect?
That's an interesting question, and my intuition is that this is the first incarnation of this particular bill, and that is because it relies on a lot of good faith from the parents, meaning there's no very specific enforcement of how this is going to be used or how it's going to be employed. And the remedy for breaching this statute is for a child reaching 18. If they wish, they can file a lawsuit against their parents for absconding with some of their money. That being said, I think that what I would have liked to have seen is some kind of remedy against the actual social media companies or the brand companies, because, you know, it's not just social media companies who are paying the parents for these kidfluencers. It's also certain brands. I'd like to see the kids be able to bring in action against those companies or, those social media companies.
And something that's interesting is a decade or two ago, this wouldn't even have been a thought. Social media seems to be kind of creating its own set of legal challenges in a way.
You know, that's an interesting take. And what lawmakers and legislators are doing is they are looking at this issue through the lens of child actors. So in some ways, this is actually kind of similar. And there's this law that's on the books from like as far back as 1931. It's called Coogan's Law. And that requires certain trusts to be created in order to protect assets for children in the child acting environment. It was actually created for a kid named, I think it's the Coogan. Coogan was actually the actor who became Uncle Fester from the 1960s Addams Family show.
Do other states already have a law like this? It sounds like Illinois is kind of leading the way at this point.
So Illinois is the first state to create a law like this. That is a fact. So California, New York, Louisiana, New Mexico are doing this trust requirement similar to how they are doing the Coogan's Law. But Illinois is the first, and I expect many other states to follow soon.
And so that was going to be my next question. Is it likely that we actually see laws like this drafted in other states that are, other than Illinois?
I definitely see that other states are going to put into effect laws like this. And partially that's because I respectfully think this isn't actually a new issue. I mean, those child actors, back in those days, the parents thought that they were doing the work. They're bringing the kid to the show. They should enjoy the proceeds. That's what some of these influencer parents are thinking, which is they make the deals. They set up the cameras. They should be enjoying the fruits of the labor. And I think that there's a real similarity between those two issues.
All right, Adam, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. Is there anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Well, I am looking forward to seeing how this law develops. I'm looking forward to seeing that the children are protected, and if they are producing vast quantities of income, that they are thought of and they are taken care of.
All right. Thank you again for taking the time to be here. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.